No.
Most people want to know how to get rich. Well, we're about to talk about it right here, and it's not what you think, right? So I put a post on Facebook yesterday. Might have been the day before yesterday. On it said the post said something like, "If you're not rich by now, no, if you have a desire to get rich, why aren't you?" And I know most people was like kind of turned off by it, and it was meant to kind of be, something to make you think. It was meant to be something that, would, make you kind of ponder, make an inquiring minds, right? And I thought I'd come on and talk about it real quickly because I think most people equate rich to some things that I just don't think. Excuse me, by the way, I just don't think is necessarily rich. And so, um, again, last night I was doing some studying, and I came up with some things that I'm not going to go into now because I'm developing it. But man, it's really, really pretty. I like it a lot. 7 levels of wealth. But what I found out is that most people in life are after one thing. Most people in life are after one thing, and that is control. They want control of their life back. So when you say, I want to be free university, right? When you say I want to be free, when you say that I want to um be financially independent, what does it mean? It means I want control. I want control over my job, over my income, over my time. I want control over my assets. I want control over my children or my husband or my wife. I want to have control of my health care. I want to control over where I live. I want control over my life. I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, how I want. What does that mean? It means that I control things. And so when we start talking about that, what exactly is financial freedom? What is control? But what exactly is rich? If we want to be rich, how do you define that? How much money is rich? And you just hit the wrong button, Dre. Okay, you got it. All right. So how much money is rich? Well, I don't think that it actually comes down to what are you over there doing? If y'all don't know, we in the studio still testing it, but we thought we had worked out the bugs, but it's evidently we haven't. But how do you actually get rich? How do you do that thing, right? And so I thought we must start with first defining it. Um, Most people define rich as a level of success in relation to money. And I just don't think that's true. Um, I don't think it's true. When we start talking about control and we start talking about assets, how is it that we take something, a word like rich, and we narrow it down to monetary? All right, I'm going somewhere with this, I promise you. We narrow it down to monetary. If we say that the most valuable commodity that we have on the planet is time, then why are we measuring rich by something less than the most valuable commodity? In my opinion, I think rich should be determined by how much time you possess, not by how much money you possess. How much time you control, not based on how much money you control. I want to actually kind of break that down and talk about that today because it's a new mindset, new concept, I know, but I'm definitely a new believer, right? This kind of deal with the 7 levels of wealth that I was working on last night. But when we start talking about that, we start talking about rich being the level, the amount of time that I control. What does that mean? How do you control a certain amount of time? Well, you can control time. Well, I don't want to jump ahead, right? So, what does that mean, right? Let's start off with what does it mean? I believe this that time is the currency of life. That means that life is over when time runs out. So does your life. Like time is the currency of life. Matter of fact, the only way or the only measurement that we have on life is time. The only measurement you have on how long you've existed on earth is age, your birthday, how many years you've been up on the earth, how many times, how many days, how many months, how many years. My child is 13 months. My child is 18 months. I'm 3 years old. I'm 5 years old. I'm 55 years old. I'm going to retire at 65. I want to live this long after I retire. Why? Because everything with life we measure in time. Everything in life. Time is the most valuable commodity on the planet. When people are on their deathbed, they don't pray for more family. No. When people are on their deathbed, they're not praying for more money. No. When people are on their deathbed, you know what they would like more than anything? More time is the most valuable commodity ever. With more time, well, I can spend it with family. With more time, well, I could work on leaving more money to my family. With more time, I can do the things on the earth, on the planet, in order to feel fulfilled when I run out of time. Time is the most valuable commodity on earth. If that's the case, and if you follow that concept, that time is the currency of life, and that time is the most valuable commodity that we have upon the earth, then watch this. Then every time we go to work, we're literally selling our time in exchange for money, whether it's $60,000 a year or $20 an hour. Either way it goes, you are exchanging time for money. Yes, you are selling your most valuable commodity that is out there. Hear me. And the reason that people want control is because when you don't control your time, well, then you don't control your life, because time is the currency of life. And if you sell 8 hours of your day to Dell Computer, or 8 hours a day to, your retail job, you want to slow that down. 8 hours of your day to, whatever workplace or work shift that you're doing, 8 hours a day goes to that. You got an hour on the way to work, commute, hour on the way back from work, that's commute. That's a 10-hour day. And if you don't have an unpaid lunch, well, now you got an 11-hour day just in work. You sold that, but you didn't just sell it for a day. You didn't sell it for a week. You didn't sell it for a month. You sold that for 40 years. 40 years. Some people want to work 45 years. 45 years of 8 to 11 to 12 hours a day. And then sometimes you actually will get a second job, or sometimes you get a side hustle, or sometimes you do something on the side. All what? Trying to get control of your time. And here's the paradox, right? I want my time, but in order to get my time, I have to give up my time. I want to be free, but in order to be free, I have to put myself in bondage. In order for me to get free, I have to give my time up, and time is my control. So now they're going to tell me when I got to be at work, when I can go to lunch, when I can go on break, when I can go on vacation, how long I can be grieving, or how long I can go on maternity leave, or how long I can be sick. I get this many sick days a year. In order to get my time back, I have to give up my time. And this is the lie that they tell us. They tell us, hey, all you got to do is put so much money to the side for the next 40, 50 years. And when you retire, then you will finally have your time because you're retired. Okay, well, let's make it make sense to us. Like, seriously, just make it make sense. So this is a lie that we fell for. You retire when you're 65, but the average lifespan for a man is 68. When do you enjoy life? You retire when you're 65, and you spend the 65 years of your life preparing for a job, then working a job. See, education was doing nothing but preparing you for the job. Then you got the job. Now I got to work another 50 or 45 years, 50 depending on when you enter the workforce, to retire at 65. And then once I retire on peanuts, because most people today that's retiring don't have enough money to make it they die. They're living check to check, living off Medicare, living off Medicaid, living off family, living off friends, living with family, can't afford nursing homes. They're literally doing reverse mortgages. They're selling their life insurance policies. I see commercials now for sell your life insurance policy, term and whole life. They don't care. This is what it's come down to retire. Why? Because somebody wants to control your most valuable commodity. That's time. The person who controls the most time controls the most money. I need y'all to understand that. The person who controls the most time controls the most money. I say that, but we're going to jump into it. Well, let's just kind of break that down, right? Every time you go to work, you're selling your time for money, right? I gave up 8 hours a day, or gave up 1 hour of my time for $20 an hour. I gave up 8 hours a day for $160 a week. I mean, a day. $160 a day is going to turn into 5 days. And then it's going to 2 weeks, it's going to be 10 days. So I got $160 a day times 10 days is $1,600 every 2 weeks. That's $3,200 a month. That's before taxes. That's selling your time for money. But you sold your time to one person, or the owners of the company, or the shareholders of the company, right? Or the CEO, or the entrepreneur, the sole proprietorship, whoever owns the company. You sold your time to that person. In exchange, they paid you. But how many people time did they buy at that company? How many employees do they have? They got 10 employees, they got 30 employees, they got 50 employees, they got 500 employees. Because the person who buys the most time controls the most money. When I buy your time, I tell you what to do in that time frame. So our football players, they tell them to run. They tell them to practice. They tell them to work out. Why? Because during this time, you are my employee. We're going to go there. They tell basketball players how high to jump, what plays to run, how to condition. Why? Because during this time, yeah, I cut you a check for millions of dollars, but I own your time, which means I own a part of your life, because time is the currency of life. It's time to go.
I gotta go. It's 7:20.
All right, so you ain't get back. All right. It's because time is the currency of life, right? So if that's the case, follow me. The person who buys the most time has the most money. Here's my question. Are you buying time, or are you selling time? Well, today I'm going to tell you how to get on the control of your time. Because if you really want to know how to get rich, then the game is not money. The game is time. I need y'all to get this, man. The game ain't money, man. The game is time. So, right. So yesterday, I was going over the 7 levels of wealth. I'm just going to throw them out there for you. And I can't teach them. I can't coach them right now, but I'm going to throw them out there, right? First level of wealth is what I call survival. People who are surviving. That's the first level of wealth, is survival, right? Survival means that I can't even live. Like, I don't have enough money. I'm always grinding. I'm out here driving Uber. I'm out here doing Lyft. I'm out here doing my 9-to-5 job. I'm trying to make ends meet. The ends ain't even meeting, because ends ain't supposed to meet. There's not enough money at the end of the month, and I'm struggling. I'm trying to survive. That's first level wealth, right? First level. You have, watch this, life is controlling you. You're just everywhere. You're just trying to get a grip on things. Like, I'm just trying to survive. The next level of wealth is what I call financially insecure. You're insecure. What does that mean? It means that I'm living check to check. That's the best way. I'm insecure, right? I'm one paycheck from being in survival mode, right? I'm one emergency away from not being able to pay my bills. Like, I'm not comfortable yet, but I'm not in survival mode. Right, that's that insecure place. It's a very unstable place. It's a very shaky place. So I went from being survival, but I went to insecure. But now that I'm insecure, I'm really not all the way settled. And the third level of wealth is what I call secure. Secure. That's where I'm financially secure. People want to be financially secure. That's where I'm controlling my expenses. Huh? Third level secure. First is survival. Second is insecure. Okay. Third is secure. Right. So now, by the time I get to the third level, I'm at this secure stage. That's where you know, I got a little bit of money left over. I got a little bit of money left over that, everything under struggle. I might be able to go get me a Gucci belt, some Gucci shoes, some Louis. That's the stuff that poor people do. We'll talk about that in just a second, right? That I got a little extra. It's time for me to move to the suburbs. It's time for me to get that Benz. I got a little money left, right? I ain't rich. I'm still working, but I just got the promotion, right? I just got the raise, right? I got a little bit of money. Girl, we can go on this cruise. Boy, we can go ball, right? We can go turn up, right? That thing. I'm secure. I ain't rich, just secure. Fourth level of wealth, right? So let's go over them right now. Survival, insecure, secure. The fourth level of wealth is free. I'm going to move from secure to free. Free is where you control assets. It's where I'm going to control my assets. So let's rewind real quickly. When I'm survival, my first level of wealth, life is controlling you. And insecure, I have no control over anything. Check the check. I don't have any control. The third level of wealth, which is insecure, secure. Yeah, insecure. Third level of wealth is secure. That's where I control my living expenses. The fourth level of wealth, which is now free, I control assets. That's where I start investing. That's where I get my real estate. That's where I start getting a portfolio. That's when I got some crypto, right? I'm starting to control assets, right? Now, I'm not buying the Gucci. I'm not buying the Louis. I'm not getting the Benz. I'm taking that extra money and I'm going to get assets because the assets is going to take me to the next level, which is rich. Because the fifth level is where I control not assets, but now I control my time. Because the assets have now allowed me to leave my job. The assets are now giving me passive income. The assets are now giving me the freedom. Hear me. The third one, right? Assets gave me freedom. That's why we call it the freedom level. To now, I control my time. I now have control over the most valuable commodity on the planet. So I'm rich. I control my time. I can spend it with my family. I can spend it in ministry. I can spend it in purpose. That whole thing that I thought I was purposed to do, I now have that because I'm free to serve inside of my purpose and I'm rich. That's not the final level of wealth, y'all. It's just the fifth. There's 7 levels. The 6th level of wealth is wealthy. See, before you were controlling your time, but now I can control generations. Because the 6th level of wealth is wealthy, and that's where you control generational wealth. And then finally, 7th level of wealth is philanthropic, right? That's where I can give, and now I control influence. What is the thumbprint that you're going to leave on the face of the earth outside of your family? That's why you have buildings at universities named after different people. That's why you have concert halls named after different people. Why? Because they were able to have a philanthropic influence, a giving influence to where now they name things after them because they left their thumbprint upon the name of the earth, on the earth. That's why you have foundations set up in people's names. Why? It's influence. 7 levels of wealth. Ready? So watch this. If you really want to get to the rich level, it's not about controlling money. That's just freedom. But rich, that's controlling your time. Now, the question is, how do I control my time when I've already sold it to the job for 40 years or 50 years? How do I be free? How do I get rich? How do I control my time? How do I get that back? Because watch this, y'all. If everybody says I want freedom, what are you getting free from? I'm going to say it again. If you say you want freedom, what are you getting free from? See, you can only get free when you've been bound. If I'm not bound, then I have nothing to get free from because I'm already free. So the mere fact that you say I want freedom is a confession of you already participating in bondage. No control. Restricted. What are you getting free from? Is it debt? Is it your job? Is it people? Is it credit cards or student loans or mortgages? Is it poor choices with cash flow or poor choices with money? What are you getting free from? You got to first identify the enemy. See, y'all got me going a long way around, man. I'm telling you, I'm trying to get it done. We're going to be done in 10 minutes. Take the long way around. So, there were 3 stages. There's 3 stages to this thing. Hear me. Just hear me. See, God has a way of working in 3s, right? You got body, soul, spirit, inner court, outer court, holies of holies, right? You have Father, Son, Holy Ghost, right? You have God has a way of working in 3s. Well, this 3, watch this. You have Egypt, wilderness, Canaan, slavery, insecurity, wilderness, prosperity, the promised land. Wait, right? So, what is the slavery part? Well, they had no control. They lived check to check, right? They actually they wouldn't even live in check to check. They were actually living in insecure. They were actually in that survival mode. They were literally in that space. That looks good. I like it. Like he just smiled. He did all right. Anyway, right? So that's the wilderness, right? So that's that's slavery. That's Egypt. A lot of us right now are in Egypt. You go to a job, they control your time. They tell you what to do, when you can do it, how long you can do it, whatever, right? It's literally another form of slavery. And you finally escape from the job only to go to the wilderness. Like, wait a minute, I got out of slavery to go to the wilderness, right? That's when you say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. You know, that great old thing called an entrepreneur. And you struggle even harder in the entrepreneur world than you did at the job. You are even more of a taskmaster than your boss was. You got more pressure on you now than you did when you were in slavery. That wilderness stage, that insecure stage. If I don't go hunting and fishing and catch it, I can't eat. That's that check to check. That's that daily mentality. I'm in the wilderness. But if you stay there long enough and you work that thing long enough, eventually you're going to end up in the promised land. See, you never go from Egypt to the promised land without going through the wilderness. You never go from job to security without going through ownership. I don't care if you own real estate. I don't care if you own a business. I don't care if you own stock. I don't care if you own crypto. You never go and get from work, a job, to the promised land without the wilderness, unless you do something like win the lottery and you're going to end up back on the job sooner than later. The wilderness is necessary. See, everybody wants to talk about success, but you never have success without a survivor. Surviving is a prerequisite for success. All right. So how do I actually get there? Here's number one. You ready? How do I get control of my time? Number one, I want you to learn a skill set and a low entry, high paying skill set or space. So I want you to get a skill set and a low entry, high paying space. So what's a low entry, high paying space? Low entry space is something like a space that requires very little capital. But you say high paying space that pays a lot of money. It don't cost a lot to get in, but once I master it, it pays a lot. Well, what is that? A skill set like digital marketing, right? Digital marketers right now, you're in a digital marketing agency, you're going to make anywhere between $3 to $500,000. That's just the new goal. Digital marketing is the new goal. And if you learn that skill set that you can learn in 12 months to 24 months, I'm talking about master. You can learn it probably in 3 months. You're mastered in 12 to 24 months. There's always things that you could pick up along the way, but you can literally run an entire agency in 24 months, understanding understanding digital marketing, SEO, copywriting. You even got AI now, landing pages, funnels, automation, ads, right? Static ads, video ads, all of this digital marketing, right? Okay, so okay, what else? What else is a low entry, high paying content? Being a content creator, YouTube, podcasts, TikTok, influencer, low entry, high paying. What's another one? App development, low entry. You can develop an app probably anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000, sometimes even free. And you can take that app to the App Store and have what's called a freemium model. That's where you can use it for free, and after so long or after certain features will unlock only when you have paid members and paid subscribers. Or you can have it forever free, and now you just want the names and the databases to actually be on people's phones. And now you can charge advertisers because now you have access to somebody's phone. Right? There's all kind of different things that you can do, even with the app space. What's another low entry but high paying space? Well, if I would say course creation, low entry, high paying. I make it one time, sell it several times. Book writing, make it one time, sell it several times. Low entry, high paying, tax liens and deeds. That's what I did. Bought a house for $300. It pays me $1,000 a month. It's now worth $100,000, right? Low entry, high paying. There's so many other ideas out there today because today is not like it was in the 80s and the 70s and the 60s. See, in the 80s, 70s, 60s, even in the 90s, in order to have money or make money, you had to have a brick and mortar, or you had to rent somebody's brick and mortar. I had to have large overhead. I had to have cash registers. I had to have signage. I had to have a building. That building had to have customers that actually come through it. I had to do marketing. I had to do all of these different things in order just to, have to have POS machines and all these different things in order to make money. Today, you can make just as much money from your home and never leave home. Never take off your house shoes. Matter of fact, you're walking around the house and they ain't even took a shower yet. Still got your bonnet on your head, right? You got a suit shirt on and shorts done down here because you got on Zoom calls, but you ain't changed no clothes. Why? Because I can still make money from my house using the internet. So we don't make money the way we used to anymore. It's gotten easier. It's gotten faster. The problem is that you're using an old model in a new age. I heard it. Using an old model in a new age. Say it again. See, you want to use a 1980s model in a 2023 age. Why are you still trying to make money the old way when the money now is being made so much faster and so much quicker? Low entry, high paying. So now I'm doing that. I want you to have the mindset that I'm starting a business, not a side hustle. They both the same documents. You still selling, they still got the same product, right? But they have two different end goals. See, my side hustle, I'm just using to make money every single month. It's just my way of making sure that I don't end up back in survival level 1 or back in insecure level 2, right? That's my side hustle. But my business, I'm going to leave it to somebody. My business, it's not a side hustle. This is my business. I treat it differently. I treat my customers differently, right? It's just a mindset. And if you say I got a mindset of a side hustle, you'll never have a business, right? The business does not happen by accident. The business is intentional. So now, how do I actually get control of my time? I'm going to get into a low entry, high paying job. Low entry, high paying skill set. Now I'm going to use that skill set to start a business, not a side hustle. Number 3, I'm going to learn the three levels of leverage of time. 3 levels, guys, this is a major teaching, right? All of this together. 3 levels of leverage of time. What are the 3 levels of leverage of time, right? First thing you're going to do is leverage credit, leverage money. I can now go borrow based on receivables, based on my credit, based on any equity I may have or credit cards. I can now go borrow $1,000 or $10,000 for inventory, for websites, for phone systems, or whatever it is that you want to borrow for. And now I can actually see, it's easy for me to borrow $1 million than it is for me to earn $1 million. Say it again. It's easier to borrow $1 million than it is to earn $1 million. I want to leverage my credit. Number two, I want to leverage systems and automation. I want to leverage systems and automation. That is, that I want to put systems in place that's going to run without me. And I want to put automation in place that's going to run without me. What is your onboarding system for your company looks like? When people register, what does that look like? How do they get their username and password to your platform? Right? What kind of thank you letter do they see? What kind of email do they receive? Is it actually hitting their inbox or promotion folder or their spam or junk mail? Right? And once they actually get onto your platform, how do they learn their way around? What does that look like? Do they feel welcome? Do they come into a group? Right? Are they going to get something in the mail? What is the onboarding process for your company? What does that look like? Automation, systems. And then finally, I want to leverage technology, right? So number one is leverage money or credit. Number two is leverage systems and automation, technology. Number three, the third one is to leverage people. The same way you're being leveraged now. The same way you're going to a job and somebody's buying your time. I want you to buy other people's time. I want you to become the employer, not the employee. I want you to become the capitalist, not the capital. Right? And so, guys, this is the whole nother teaching that just threw in here, right? Number three is learn the 3 levels of time leverage. And then number 4 is I want you to invest in the S&E, not in the S&P. Right? You're starting a company. Your desire is to scale it, to make it grow. So that why? So that I can get my time back and I can be rich. See, all this is about becoming rich. I want to get my time back because time is the most valuable commodity that I can. And when I own my time, then I'm rich. But I cannot own my time as long as I got to go to a job. I cannot own my time as long as I got all this debt. So the only way that I can own my time is that I got to have some assets that's going to pay me every single month. And I'm using real estate. I'm using this business. I'm using whatever it is that you're doing in order. I'm using crypto. I'm using my portfolio. I'm using my assets to actually become rich. But I'm not measuring it in money. I'm measuring it in my ownership of time. The most valuable commodity that's there. So finally, when I look at that, I want to invest in the S in me. Who do you think, when Bill Gates was starting Microsoft, do you think he gave and put a lot of money in, let's say, IBM stock? When Michael Dell was starting Dell Computer, do you think he gave my Apple all his money? When Elon Musk was starting Tesla, did you say, you know what, let me go put my money in Disney or Nike? You know what they did? They put that money back into their own companies. And they said, I can get a larger return in my company than I can get a larger return in their company. See, the S&P tells me to invest in their dream, but the S in me tells me to invest in my dream. So now that I got this business, now that I got this leverage and money's coming in, I'm not going to go spend the money on me. I'm going to invest back into my company because that's where the large returns come in. Because my returns I'm not going to measure in money. My returns are going to measure in time. Those returns are going to allow me to never have to work again. Those returns are going to allow me to put my kids in the best school system. Those returns are going to allow me to have more options, more choices in life on how I live, where I live, my health care. You know, every single thing that I do is going to be decided. But I got to free my time. And you will never free your time until you first free your mind. Guys, this has been my time with you today. I really appreciate it. You know, we talked about, really, when you get rich, it's not really what you think, because most people thought that rich was about money. It's not rich. That's freedom. Rich is about controlling your time. Love you guys with love of Christ. I'll see you guys later. You guys be blessed.